Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the myth of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And my entire life, I have heard that, I have repeated it, but I never fully felt it was true, but I had no real, evidence for why I didn't think it was true, other than my own personal experience, which obviously is anecdotal, but anyway, let's get into
The
it.
expression, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, is scientifically false. In fact, the opposite is true, and I'm going to explain why. I'll also explain what science does have to say about resilience and what does make you stronger in the face of adversity. A recent meta-analysis of over 100 high-quality scientific studies showed that becoming stronger in the face of adversity, what is referred to in science as post-traumatic growth, is not commonly seen in the population. It is much more common for people to do worse following adversity. Despite the popularity of the idea that going through hard things is going to make you stronger, it doesn't actually make evolutionary sense. It is the job of our nervous system to keep us safe in the face of threat. And so if we are encountering threat over and over again, the regions of our brain like the amygdala, responsible for detecting fear in the environment, or neural functions like the HPA axis, which helps to release cortisol, the stress hormone, into the body, become more sensitive, not less sensitive. That isn't to say that people won't say they're more resilient following significant adversity and trauma, but their neurobiology will say otherwise. Take war veterans, for example. Are they coming back from the war stronger and more robust than they were when they went in? Usually not. They're coming back more sensitive and more vigilant to danger in their environment. For the most part, their physical health, their mental health, their sense of spirituality, their sense of self-esteem drop. And these are the effects of a nervous system that has become more sensitive, not
More sensitive, not less. So this really does make a lot more sense to me because I have been through lots of trauma in my life. Not to say it's a badge, because it's certainly not. I would have rather have done without that trauma, honestly. And people always tell me that, oh, what didn't kill you made you stronger. But it didn't. It made me emotional. It made me, not saying emotional is weak, but sometimes when you're overly emotional about things, that can be a detriment. It made me have a lot of anxiety. It made me have a hard time forming other relationships. It had a profound effect on my younger adult years. And I found myself in unsafe situations over and over again. And finally, I was able to find a safer situation. But it was only until I found that safer situation that I could even begin to heal. So when I was in that situation, I couldn't. It didn't make me stronger. In fact, it held me back. And so this I really resonate with.
less sensitive to danger in the environment. What science does know about resilience is that 1, it's not something you're born with. 2, it's not something you can run out of. 3, it's not something that is built by going through trauma. What does help foster resilience? Building deep, meaningful connections with others, a faith-based community, strong cultural connections, believing in your own sense of agency, having a growth mindset that you actually can act on the world to change your outcomes, having a sense of purpose in your life. But how are we supposed to foster that when our brains are already suffering from the trauma that we experienced? We need our nervous system to chill out. And the most common ways that people are able to achieve that is through exercise, mindfulness, meditation, a healthy diet, everything everybody hates to hear. But those aren't the only ways. What we're trying to do essentially is engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which is essentially the balance to the fight or flight response. And there are a lot of ways to do that. Spending time in nature, certain breathing exercises, physically stimulating the vagus nerve, taking certain probiotics, cold water exposure. There is a laundry list of these things. This is certainly not comprehensive, and I'll post some links in my bio. But the point is, don't trick yourself into believing that going through hard things is actually making you stronger. Being at peace, having a sense of safety, having a sense of meaning, having a sense of connection, those things are going to help make you stronger.
And she's not wrong about that. And for a long time, I just really thought it was just me, that only maybe I'm just more broken than everybody else, but it's not true. And, when I've listened to other people's traumatic experiences, it's always occurred to me like, I don't think this made them stronger. It hurt them. Look at people who get hard hardly ever do they come out of that better off. In fact, majority of them don't. Uh, Also, coupled with the fact that there's probably not going to be any justice for what happened to them, the person who did that to them is probably going to walk free, because that genuinely is not something that happens a lot. People, A, don't record it a lot, and B, when they do, it's hell. It's hell on earth for them. And I totally understand why someone wouldn't want to put themselves through that after they've been through, the R experience. And I totally get that. And it makes a lot more sense now that people who have been through that wouldn't want to report it, although I still think it's important. So if there are people out there that can handle that, that's good. But it's so harmful. So I really hope that we can stop saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because it's not at all true. In fact, I feel like that's gaslighting people who have been through trauma. And even if it's well-intentioned, it's still kind of gaslighting them and saying, no, you're fine. You're better off now. I was not better off from my dad abusing me physically and mentally for over a decade. I was not better off when I got kicked out of my house because my mom hit me and I fought back. I did not get mentally better when my first husband beat that of me. I was not better off when he cheated on me. I was not better off when I was belittled. Any of it happened. I wasn't better off. But what's really difficult to break is the cycle of abuse, which I was brought up in. And when you're brought up in a cycle of abuse, it's really hard to leave it. And my first relationship was really abusive. My second one wasn't as abusive, but it was still abusive. My third long-term relationship wasn't abusive per se, but he was very emotionally out to lunch, really. Like, he was emotionally, out to lunch. Like, he didn't have the ability to be the kind of person I needed him to be for me. And my current long-term, my longest term relationship is the one and only relationship that I have now. I feel safe. I no longer feel like my husband is going to somehow do something terrible to me and that I got to be ready for it. And I can actually relax now. Whereas I know for the majority of my life, I didn't relax. I was stressed out all the time. And it made sense because my actions revealed that. My actions showed that during the time. When I look back at my early 20s and my early 30s, I can see how I was trying to get out of that hole. And I did. But lots of people don't. So I made this video for all of you who have been through trauma, who have had people tell you that what didn't kill you made you stronger. And I'm telling you to tell them back, no, that's not true. And there's actually science to back that up. Find yourself a community, form those deep relationships, whatever they may be to you, as long as they're healthy, because there are some groups that just aren't healthy to join. So I wish you the best.